Welcome everybody to the 9th episode of Master Mike's Wrestling Paradise. This is your host, Master Mike Wrestling Ambrose. Notice I'm wearing a tank top here because it's hot out. Feels like it's in the 90s here in Massachusetts on the Cape. And, it's the Northeast heat, it always gets to you. So, try to cool off. Obviously, I don't know the extra because I don't want it to affect the sound of of my show here. So, let's get going. Last night's Smackdown, if you watched the beginning of the show, we had Roman Reigns and John Cena in the confrontation. That was something to hear. They were shooting on everything. Personalized, other wrestlers. It was quite the moment. I think both guys are going to have a great match heading into SummerSlam a week from tonight on the Peacock Network. And hopefully next week should be a real good show. It's the go-home episode of SmackDown. The go-home episode of all WWE shows heading into SummerSlam. And also after SmackDown, in case you were watching on TNT, we had the debut of Rampage where Christian Cage won the Impact World title from Kenny Omega. Now, I like Christian Cage in his prime with Edge and Christian. I still say Edge and Christian. My opinion, next to the Bulldogs, probably my favorite W tag team of all time. It's either them or the British Bulldogs. And, those are the two best in my opinion. People could say New Days or Hardys or Usos or Dudleys, Hart Foundation, Demolition, Rockers, and there's been a lot of great tag teams in WWE history. But to me, the top two are Edge and Christian and the British Bulldogs. But I think, at this point, and I think Christian Cage's a good talent. He's not the star Edge was. He'll have some good matches. It's not that he's still good in the ring. His age 47, coming back from Nexter, he hasn't wrestled in like over 7 years. And, now he's a champ. I think, though, sorry. I think it makes the talent base and Impact look minor league now because you have a former WWE guy winning the Impact World title on an AEW show. Impact and AEW have a partnership, and I think it just showed that it kind of exposed it that WWE is the place to be. Much like if CM Punk and Bryan Danielson show up in the next couple months on AEW TV, and they get put in feature positions, it's going to make the young up-and-coming talent say, well, where's our shot? It's going to be interesting what's next year, once all the contracts are from AEW, like who eventually jumps. Speaking of which, they gave a good show. Britt Baker came off like the biggest star in the show. Obviously, she's from Pittsburgh, and she's the AEW Women's Champion. Despite playing a heel, she's getting all the cheers. I mean, she's the one person they should, if they're going to keep, AEW wants to keep Britt, they're going to have to give her a lot of money. Because WWE will be knocking at her door. They already gave her boyfriend, allegedly, like $7 million a year or in the neighborhood. And I'm pretty sure when they were talking to Adam Cole, they got Britt on their radar, I'm sure. Absolutely. I could see Britt with the Sasha Banks and the Becky Lynches cutting promos of them. Her work needs work, but I think she would be right up there. But then again, you don't want an outsider coming in and leapfrogging your own talent that have been there, like Liv Morgan, who deserves more airtime. And obviously, right now, the only current new women in WWE, and they have a great women's division, no doubt about it. They have the best. Rhea Ripley, Nikki Ash, and Bianca Belair are the only ones that are new getting the push. And you can make I'll say this. They are doing stuff with Tegan Nox and Shotzi Blackheart with the tag team. So you got like some new faces right there. And NXT have their talent. Obviously, there were call-ups from NXT working dark matches this week. Actually, not call-ups. They were like tryouts for the main roster. So we're going to be seeing a lot of stuff. I think after SummerSlam, we're going to see another turnover with new talent getting pushed. Because the edict is younger and bigger, which WWE's going. I agree with the younger part 100%. That's what the big, because just because you're 6'10" doesn't mean anything. If a guy is a good size, he looks like an athlete, he deserves to be pushed. Or she. If there's a girl, young woman, or a young man there, athletic, they look like athletes, they should get a push. Impact. Let's talk on Impact for a second. I think the best thing on Impact is Chris Bay joining the Bullet Club as him and Jay White teamed up. Jay White's obviously his leader, and he put Chris Bay in there. I think, in my opinion, the Impact New Japan relationships is much more interesting than the AEW and Impact's thing. I think AEW is like taking advantage. I think Impact and New Japan is more fair and balanced, so to speak. I think it's much more even. If AEW is getting involved, it's making themselves about them more. As you saw with Omega and them, the Bullet Club, it's, Good Brothers are the Impact. Although Good Brothers are part of Impact, but because they have the association with Omega, they're a part of that. So it's like that's the only thing. I think in my opinion, I'm more interested in the Impact with New Japan and keeping AEW out of it. I'm gonna switch around some non-sports talk. Oh, by the way, just one quick thing: Triple Mania, the big show that Triple H does every year in Mexico, it airs tonight. In America, it looks like the only way you could access this is on Facebook. Twitch obviously doesn't have it, and I don't think YouTube does. But as of right now, Facebook would be the only carrier to AAA. And it looks like it's only going to be in Spanish. I don't think they have it in English version as of right now. You might want to check that out. I'm going to do some non-wrestling talk right now. I'm going to talk football and the Patriots situation. Right, the quarterback situation, which involved the veteran Cam Newton and the upstart rookie Mac Jones. Mac Jones got, if they would say in wrestling, the babyface reaction. You'd think it was Steve Austin showing up or Hogan in their primes. The fans were into it. He was getting like the big pop. People standing for him, popping for him. And every anticipated throw, he got a good reaction. I think he has potential to be the quarterback of the team, the starting QB. Obviously, Newton's a veteran guy. If he gets back to what he used to be, he could be good. It could create a situation, which I think is good for Patriot talk, considering post-Brady. We're in the post-Brady era. Can't believe I'm saying this, post-Brady era. I mean, we were spoiled big time as New Englanders. I don't care. We were spoiled like we've never been spoiled ever. Of all the sports here in town, we were more spoiled by the Patriots than any sports team. I've seen Celtics, Red Sox, Bruins. I mean, Brady took it to a whole other level. He's the GOAT for a reason, Tom Brady, and those are big shoes to fill, whether it's Newton or it's Mac Jones. Long-term, why Jones has more potential to fill those shoes. Let's see where that goes, in the next couple next few months, next couple of years, what the Patriots look like. As long as Belichick's there, I think things should be good. I think the Patriots, if they get to 10-7 and a playoff team, even if they lose the first round, it's a success. Consider where they were last year, first year without Brady. If they can make the playoffs without Brady, it's a success. Let's go into a little hockey now. I just mentioned the Bruins. They got some coaches, assistants. Chris Kelly and Adam McQuaid, former Bruins, both members of the 2011 Stanley Cup champion Bruins, are now going to be assistant coaches to Bruce Cassidy. I think it's a good choice. They're both respected guys. And obviously, I think the players, I know it's, we always say coaches have control. I think in NHL, not so much like NBA or MLB, but I think in that they're getting a little more say. I think the Bruins, the veteran players like Bergeron and Krejci, although not Krejci, not them, but Bergeron and Rask and Marchand, those guys have a lot of say and pull. And I think they convinced them to bring back guys for some coaching leadership that could help out the younger players, which could be good. I think the Bruins are going to be a playoff team. We'll see what happens come then. I tell you, football is the only sport where I think the coaches have the most control. Everything else, it's like a player-run league. Even baseball, I know they say managers have but the players want out, they can want out, they're making a lot of money. And NBA, don't even get me started. Those players just want control on that team. I think the Celtics like to try to live in think that they could be like the old tradition where we can control the team when the players don't want to listen to that. All right, that's about it for now. I got to go back to get cleaned up here, keep cool. It's a hot summer night. It's the dog days of summer. Another month, then we should be in fall, cooling off a little bit. Right, talk to you later. Goodbye.